Hello! Hope everybody's having a great day. Welcome to another episode of Blind Hope with Rich. Yep, I'm Rich. And today, it's been a fabulous start to the day. Uh, at my work, we've recently had an audit to renew our licensure for the building. And we had zero deficiencies. That means we had to do no corrective action plans, which means saves me a lot of typing. And that just makes my day because, as far as I know, it's the first time in the history of this company that we have had no corrective action plans needed. And that just makes me feel so freaking happy because it shows me that it's good enough. The work I'm doing is good enough. You know, I don't know about all of you, but in the past and in the present for me, I got to be honest, it still happens. I feel like I got to do more. I got to, achieve more because of my blindness. I feel like people don't think I can handle as much or do as much. And here I am, the one counselor that got their charts audited, and I'm the one that has no corrective action plans because I'm the only counselor in this particular office. In the other office that I work in, there's a few others, that will be looked at next year when our other office gets their bi-yearly audit. And so this year it was me under the microscope, and I had no deficiencies. Ow, big zero. And I tell you what, it feels spectacular because I don't recall uh, ever hearing that the agency has had no deficiencies. Usually there's always one because there's always one that, you know, the auditor, it seems like they just don't want to give you a clear sight visit. They want you to, have something you need to work on, you know. And I was just like, well, I mean, he named off some things. You could add a little here or add a little there. Okay, I'm cool with that. You know, just so long as I didn't have any caps, which is corrective action plan. And I got none. I got the information this morning from a coworker of mine that said in the email, "You have no caps," and I was like, "I'll be dang." My day's just been on fire ever since. I just, yeah, do this, and I can be content, which today is what happens to be the topic I wanted to discuss is being content, you know, being okay with where we're at. Because I don't know about all of you, but for me, I keep striving for more and more and more and more. I want more. I want to achieve more. I want to move further in this area of my life or that area of my life. I want to get more. You know, even though I got so much already, I am filled with blessings. You know, I don't have my vision. I would love for there to be a cure so I could see the world and the people that are in it once again. But at the same time, you know what? I need to be able to be content with where I am, with what is going on, and with what I have. I have the most amazing wife. She is just outstanding. I am blessed beyond anything to have her. She treats me with such respect and love and caring, you know, and she engages and participates, and it's not, you know, well, it's not her riding on my coattails like plenty of my exes have. It's her walking beside me. That's how it should always be, is, in a relationship, they're a couple is walking beside each other, not one walking behind the other. That's crap if they are, you know. But today, being content, oh man, today I am content, you know, because the audit is over. We have no caps. You know, tonight, my wife and I are doing something we have never done before. We are going to a masquerade ball. That's crazy, you know. I've heard of them. I've seen them on TV shows, you know, and in the movies, but I've never been to a masquerade ball. So, you know, we ordered, you know, a shirt, you know, and my wife a dress, and that they match, you know, and then I'm going to have some black slacks, and you know, wear a, you know, I don't know what they call it. They actually call them, but I'm going to wear a golfer's hat, you know, to go with it. And we got these little masquerade masks that we put on, and they match our outfits, and it's going to be spectacular, you know. It's going to be enough, you know. When is enough going to be enough that a person can feel content? That's the question. Because I know so many people, like I said earlier, myself included, I'm just not satisfied. I want more. And I shouldn't need to feel the need that I want more. You know, I shouldn't feel that want. Because I got a nice big house, bigger than I really want to have even, you know. But between me and my wife, we got so much stuff. We even got a storage shed. You know, outside of our house, we got a storage shed, you know, down the road a little ways. And man, we don't need all this stuff. We really don't. You know? But at the same time, we got it. So I'm not going to just, you know, I mean, if people need stuff or I can donate stuff or sell stuff, I'm not taking the whole stuff to the junkyard, you know, because the stuff we have, it's not broken. It's not, you know, worst case scenario, it needs dusted. So, you know, I need to just feel content. I need to be, ah, oh, this is good. This feels good, you know. I have a comfortable bed to sleep in, and I have a nice little shower I can use. Well, it's not little, but I have a shower, you know, and it's comfortable. If I don't want to shower, I want to, you know, soak in a bathtub. The other bathroom has a bathtub in it and a shower combination. I can, you know, slide down to the bathtub and just soak, you know, and I can enjoy whatever I want. You know, I have a lot of vacation time I've saved up over a couple years, and I'm going to use some of that. You know, starting next week, I'm going to try and record a video early because next week I'm going camping for several days to be around friends that are in recovery with me, friends that I've known for years, people that are new in recovery that I get to meet. You know, I mean, I have all of these blessings bestowed upon me, you know, and I need to just be content with what I'm getting and what I have. You know, I shouldn't be having to, you know, feel like I have to fight to get more, to get farther, to get, you know, I shouldn't have to feel that way. Because if I am, how am I truly enjoying what I have in the present? You know, I tell many of my clients, you know, and they look down, you know, and I'm like, what do you see down there? They're like, my feet, my shoes. I'm like, right, where are they at? Well, they're right here. You're right, they're right here in the present. Keep your feet or your head in the same place your feet are in the present. And focus on today. Focus on what you have now. Don't focus on what you want a year from now. Don't focus on what you wish you would have had, you know, 2 years ago. Focus on today. Focus on, this is freaking awesome. You know, my house has nice air conditioning. You know, sitting here and it just feels very pleasant. If I want, I can go out on my front porch, listen to the birds. Actually, I can hear the birds right now because I got a lot of trees right around me. Even though I'm in the middle of a neighborhood, small towns you get a lot of trees, so it's kind of nice. It really is. So I got a lot of trees. I've been, go out on my front porch and listen to birds. I can go out on my back patio where I have the, nice table and chairs, and I can enjoy the birds, out there. I can let my dog out because we got a privacy fence around the backyard, and I can enjoy, playing with my dog outside, even though he's just a little miniature dachshund. He's just the most adorable damn thing ever, you know. It feels like I'm talking about all these things. I'm just like, oh my God, just be blessed. Feel the blessings that you have. Feel content that you have so much. You know, that's where my head needs to be. But I think I'm probably not alone. There are people out there that want more, want to go further, feel like they have to keep pushing, have to keep pushing. If they're not pushing forward, then they're getting complacent and falling back. No, you're not getting complacent if you're able to sit and feel content. If you're sitting and feeling relaxed, not, if you have things, hanging over your head like bills and stuff and, needing to, go take care of this or that, okay, then you got some stuff you need to take care of. But right now, I mean, the biggest thing I got is I got one gutter that has a clogged downspout. I just got to fix that. That's my biggest worry right now. It's not, we're at the end of the month and, oh, got a whole new set of bills coming next month. Well, okay, bring it on. You know, my wife and I both make decent money. We aren't making millions, that's for sure. Wouldn't know what to do with it if I did. But no, we're doing fine. We need to be content where we are right now and enjoy it. I'm absolutely looking forward to what life has to bring, but I'm also needing to find that right now I'm content and happy. I mean, hope you guys can relate to this because there's times that I just feel I need to do more. I need to achieve more. I need to help more. I need to be more a part of. I don't need to do any of that shit. I need to be happy in my own skin. I need to be happy with what I got going on. I need to be happy with where I am now in my life. Just to be content. I mean, I truly just need to be content. That's it. You know, when my wife and I first got this house, and I pushed and pushed, and I was like a pit bull. I locked onto it and I wouldn't let go. And I was in uh, a battle, you know, between me and somebody else and the homeowner, on the price for this house. I ended up paying like 25,000 more than what I ever intended to pay. The owner of the house, the seller, they got exactly what they asked for, and I was just like, because I thought I was going to get it for 25,000 cheaper, and I was locked in and ready to roll with it. Nah, it didn't work out that way. So it's okay. It's okay. You know, I'm okay with that. But back then I wasn't okay with it. But now I'm content with it because I have a freaking nice house. And it makes me feel good. You know, and isn't that what I try and I hope I inspire all of you and motivate you guys to seek out and achieve is happiness. That's all I want, you know, is for the people that are hear me to feel the happiness that life has to offer. Because if you're not feeling happy, you're not doing something that you need to be doing. I'm happy right here, right now. I could get a bad phone call in 10 minutes. And yeah, it might not make me happy. But right now, in the moment, be content and be happy with what you have in the here and now. If you can do that, you're on the road to happiness because finding and enjoying what you have in your life. It doesn't matter if you have 5 cars, a boat, a camper, a house, a beach house, and you know, and all these friends and all this. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have all that to be happy. You know, I have people that love me. That's nice. You know, biggest thing is I'm not alone. That's what I need is not to be alone. Me being alone is a recipe for a disaster. This noggin, I tell you what, it's not a fun place to be, and I don't suggest you ever visit it by yourself because, I can spin if I'm all in my head, by myself. I can spin that brain's going, 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 and I start kicking out all sorts of messed up ideas. Why would And I'm like, after that, I talked to my wife about it. I'm like, why did I ever think that to begin with? That makes no sense. But it's okay. It really is because if I can be okay with where I am right now, then I can be okay with what's going on in my life. You know, I uh, I have a lot of plans. I don't have the outcome planned out because it never works out quite the way I plan it. The outcome to be, but I can make plans to get to a certain point where I want to be. And as days come, make a little step one day, maybe not make another step for a few days. Make another step a few days, down the road. You know, as I'm going, I'm just like, da 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 da, moving forward, da da da, just relaxing, and I'm content. That's it. If a person can feel content, feel enough is enough, you know, I don't need all this other stuff. I am happy. You decide to go buy yourself a camper or a sports car. That's fine. That's fine. But I ask you this: you need that stuff to be happy, or can you be happy in your own skin, just being you? Can you? I mean, really, that's a question to ask yourself. Can I be happy in my own skin? Do I need to have somebody, jumping in there and, changing things up? No, I don't. You know, I can be happy in my own skin today. I'm not going to say tomorrow I'm going to feel itchy and uncomfortable because I'm not in tomorrow. I am in today. And as long as I'm in today, my life is good. I started out with my day with my coworker calling me and telling me about the audit of work and how good we did. And that started my day off. I listened to some fabulous music that boosted my happiness. I talked to my wife. We had some good conversation that boosted my happiness. Things just kept going and going so far, and it's just now like coming around noon. I'm recording this on a Saturday, by the way, so it's a day ahead of when it's going to post. Um, my day is just off and going, and it's just positive note, positive note, positive note, positive note. And I'm not saying that that's how every day is for me. Don't take it like I'm just like floating on the cloud, with no worries or concerns with life. I still have life on life's terms, and it can be challenging. But do I have to be unhappy? Do I have to be, put on the grumpy face? Do I have to, I don't have to be any of that if I don't choose. I can choose, even in a challenging time, to be happy because I am content in my own skin. That's the reality, people. If we're comfortable with what we are, where we are, we got this. You know, I talked to you guys in the past about taking these steps to move forward, taking these steps. That's true, and that's what we need to do in life. Because we have goals. We don't just fly by the seat of our pants because sometimes that gets a little risque. And I tell you what, I used to do that a lot. I didn't know what the next day would bring. I didn't know if I'd go to sleep that night or if I'd stay up, be partying with everybody, or But that was in my younger years. I did some pretty crazy things. I wish I would have had a better head on my shoulders. I'm not saying I have a great head on my shoulders now, but I know that as I look back, hindsight, of course, being 2020, that I did some really dumb, and can look back now and see that stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's not something I want to do again. So I've learned, you know, by the mistakes I've did in my past, I've at least learned, nah, I don't want to do that again, you know, which helps me to be happy today because I know I'm not going to go try and do something illegal. I'm not going to try and, get over on this person and con them and, get something out of them for next to nothing. I'm not going to try. I'm just going to be me. You know, I was at a support group meeting recently, and the topic was, um, that we're comfortable, that we can be ourselves. I don't have to wear a mask. Which, by the way, I realized I didn't have my glasses on today, so I'm doing a video without my glasses, so my eyes are closed because I don't want people really noticing the fact it's kind of funky with this little plastic. I don't know. It's a little bit different than a contact lens, but it's definitely a little bit harder. But I don't want people looking and seeing that on the video. They'll be like, "Oh, what's wrong with that dude's eye?" There ain't one there. So, anyways, but even when I have my glasses on, my eyes are usually closed anyways. And I realize that I'm like, do I really need to wear glasses? I mean, my eyes are closed anyways. Yes, I don't. I can just be happy with this because I got to find me a pair of sunglasses that are comfortable. Because right now I got pairs of gas station sunglasses, and they're just really not that comfortable. I need some that have some soft, flexible arms, you know, and a nice, comfortable ear, nose piece, and all that kind of stuff, and let them be comfortable and just rest on my face instead of them being tied on my head or, weighing on my ears or, you know, pinching my nose or, nah, be comfortable. Enjoy what we got, you know. But I don't know. I mean, today, my life is really blessed. And if I stop and quit rushing and trying to accomplish and succeed and you know yeah, it feels really good to know that I we had such a great site visit at work that we got a clear you know record and don't have any corrective action plans And I'm sorry I keep reflecting back to that, but to me that is such a major thing for me for two reasons. It's based on 2 years of the past 2 years, and 1 year of it I had vision, and 1 year of it I had no vision, and combined I had no mistakes. What does that tell me? I can succeed. I can still do what I did with vision without vision. I can be comfortable in my own skin. I know I did. I never thought of it in the past. It didn't click in my head until I'm sitting here just now talking to you guys like, wow, I just did that. Half with vision, half without. And I came back, and when you put them together, it came out clean, clear. No corrective action plans. So that says to me, it doesn't matter if I have vision, if I have a little vision, if I have a lot of vision, if I have no vision, I still, right here, can do what I need to do with what I got. I don't need all this extra stuff. I don't need to have my vision to be a successful and productive person in this society. I can succeed just fine, which makes me feel content. What can you guys do? Let's look at you. What can you guys do? Or can you say that if you stop long enough and just sit here and just hmm and feel what's going on with you? Can you feel content in your own skin? Can you sit here and be like, this is nice? Can you do that? I want you guys to try and do that because I feel like, you're going to find happiness. Don't sit and start thinking about the past. Don't sit here and start dwelling on the future because you have remorse of your past. You end up with fear of your future, and then you're going to ruin the present. Consider the present a gift. Be in the present. Enjoy this moment. Can you be in the moment with me? Can you feel yourself right now? It's good. I'm comfortable. I'm overweight. I'm still comfortable. You know, I'm not going crazy, on these weird weight loss diets they got, out there in society today. I've heard, I got coworkers that are doing this carnivore diet. I'm just like, I want a piece of bread. I want some vegetables. I want some fruit. They're just meat and meat and meat and meat. Don't get me wrong. I love me a good steak. I love me some chicken fried. I love me a KC strip or ribeye or porterhouse or I love some good chicken and nah, yeah, I love all that stuff. But I could eat the heck out of it. But I also want some fruit. I want I enjoy yogurts. I enjoy all these other things, and that's where I am. If I'm going to have some extra weight, okay, I can live and work past that. That's not going to be my fatal downfall. It's too much weight. Yeah, I'd like to lose about 30 pounds. I feel pretty damn good about myself. But honestly, I feel pretty damn good about myself right now. So if the 30 pounds comes off somehow down the road, okay. If this is where I'm, at right now, okay. Either way, it's okay. I want you guys to focus on that. Stand in a mirror, look at yourself, and be like, I'm okay. This looks okay. you know. But that's just the outside. You gotta get in here. Then you gotta get in here. You know, I'm okay. I feel okay. Then you get up here. I'm not going to stress on this. Today, I'm doing what I can do, and that's okay. If I don't get, such and such done because I run out of time, it's okay. Because you did the best you could do today. So be okay with that. Be content. You fulfilled and you put in, what you could for that day, and just be content with that. Don't strive and push yourself to where you're so physically exhausted that when you're not working, you can't enjoy yourself. I know plenty of people, myself included here not that long ago. I was coming out of work, my wife was there to pick me up, I was coming out, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, today was tough." And I put a lot into it, you know, and I should feel rewarded, for the effort I put into it. I should not feel like, not like I should be rewarded. I should feel rewarded because I put in the effort to be of service, to help out, to, be there for somebody else, hear their pain, help them get into the solution instead of wallowing around in the problem, you know. Oh, knows it's just like crazy, but I need to be okay. I want to help other people to be okay right here, right now. So after this video, you guys, put on a TV show you enjoy. Put on some music that you like to hear, and just feel the contentment you can have by not getting all freaking fearful and worried about what's coming down the pipe, or looking back and feeling all bad about the past. Any of us can do that. Any of us can have those feelings because nobody has a perfect past and nobody knows what's coming in the future. So it would just go to reason that if I'm staying right here in the present and I'm being content in this moment, good. Doesn't that seem right? Doesn't that feel like something you want to do? I just want to feel happy. I want to feel that contentment because I know that contentment is going to bring me happiness. And that's what we're searching for, isn't it? We're wanting to be content. We're wanting to be okay. We want to feel happy. We want to just enjoy the life we have right here, right now. That's what we want. And we can only get that by staying in the moment. Right now, in this moment, I'm okay. Maybe right now, your moment is, stress. It's, you're feeling some depression, you're feeling some anxiety, you're feeling some, worry, concern. Okay, okay, I get it. We all have those moments. You know, do we have to live in those moments? Or can we be like, it's going to be okay. I can get through this. I have options. I have a plan. I know what I need to do. I need to reach out and talk to somebody. I need to go and get out of my head and be around other people. I need to, get this concern and worry and nervousness out of my, off the forefront of my thoughts. I need to let it go back away, be gone, and I need to be happy in the moment because I'm walking, I'm talking, I'm moving, I'm grooving, and now I can pick up a phone and say, "What's up?" And enjoy it. I don't have to sit back and be like, Oh, God, poor me, poor me. I don't have to do that. That's not the life that you want, is it? You want to sit and just feel, oh, all the time? I would hope not, because you're really not enjoying the blessings you have. And I know some people go through hard times, they lose jobs, they're short on money for bills. You know, it's okay. Acknowledge and accept. I have done what I can do for today. I have done what I can do for today. Be content right there. Be right there. Bam. Be content with that. And just be, right on. Because if you can do that, tell you what, you're going to have a lot more smiles. You really are. I hope you guys can find, what I'm experiencing, what I'm feeling right now. Maybe I don't want you to experience what I'm feeling 2 hours from now, but right now, I am in the moment. I am feeling happy and content. It feels almost like those are two words that should go together, doesn't it? I should feel happy and content. Those ought to be two things that stay together. They ought to be one thing. If you're flowing, if you're moving, through, and you're happy and you're content, it's like one foot in front of the other. Happy, content, happy, content, happy, content. You just keep on rolling with that, you know? See the bump of the road? Up, hopped over the bump of the road, still going happy and content, happy and content. And you're just moving right on along. You can find that enjoyment, find that pleasure you get out of being okay in your own skin. You can do that. I believe in you truly. You guys just have to give it a try. So, anyways, in closing, today, focus on being content. Let the contentment that you possess, that you're having, let it lead into the happiness that you desire. It will extremely, extraordinarily improve your day on an exponential level if you can give it a try. If you have the willingness and the open mindedness, just be like, out of my way, right here, right now. And this is where I'm okay. Right here, right now, I'm okay. I'm content right here, right now. Think about that. I want you all to focus, and hopefully today you will have contentment in your life. You will have happiness. You will have good vibes, good feelings coming in. You'll freaking share some of that joy and happiness with others. Get out and enjoy it. Let other people enjoy. Let that stuff just come off of you and let it just soak into other people also. Create enough of it for other people to have some of it so they can feel it and be like, I want what that cat's got. You know, you want to be that person, then you got to do what that other person you're seeing is doing. If you want what I got, you do what I do. It's that simple. There's nothing else to it. Don't overthink it. Really, don't do that. We all do that enough in our life. I don't think any of us need to overthink more. Find out what you need and just be okay with what you got. What I need, I don't need it right now. It'll come to me if I keep putting one foot in front of the other. What I got right now, I'm okay with. I'm content. So, anyways, I hope all of you have a fabulous freaking week to come. I hope you all, enjoy and find happiness in your lives. And please leave me some messages down below. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear some comments. I feel like nobody's hearing me, but I know I'm getting views and stuff. But I would like to hear some comments. What can I improve on? Am I babbling, or am I, full of shit? I prefer not to hear it, quite that brutal. But I'd love to hear if you're enjoying it. If so, please, you know, tell other people to check me out. It's Blind Hope with Rich. You know, I'm right here, hopefully every Sunday. That's my goal, is to be here every Sunday. So, if possible, join me next Sunday. I'm going to go camping, but I'm going to try and get me a video ready to rock and roll. So it'll be there for you guys next Sunday. I don't know what it'll be. More will be revealed. So stay tuned. You all have a fabulous rest of your, or fabulous week to come. And I will talk to you all later.